Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and in today's practice we're going to be focusing mostly on the shoulders, the upper back, the neck, and we're going to be using the wall. I've kind of got myself set up in a corner so that I can use both walls just to demonstrate. You'll only need one wall for this, but you want enough open wall space that you can put your side against the wall and move your arms freely without hitting anything. And I also have some props with me today. I've got a yoga block. If you've got two yoga blocks, go ahead and grab both of them, depending on how tall you are or really like the width of your shoulders and your pelvis. You may want to have two blocks. And I've also got my yoga strap with me, not required, but we're gonna have the option to end the practice with legs up the wall, and it's nice to have a strap for that pose. So once you've got yourself set up at the wall and you found all your props, we'll get started. All right, so we're actually going to start today's practice in reclined, and we're going to set up with our feet facing the wall. So go ahead and come to your back, and we want to set up so that we can put our feet on the wall and find about a 90-degree knee angle, more or less. All right, so once we've found this position, flat on the back, feet on the wall, we're going to press the feet into the wall, feel the quadriceps activate a little bit, and then start to lift the tailbone, so posterior pelvic tilt, and then start to lift up a little bit. So keep the low back long here, keep the front of the body, the low belly drawing in, and then really slowly start to roll back down. So kind of segmenting this out, slow and controlled all the way back down. And we'll just do that a couple more times. So pressing feet into the wall, tailbone curls up, low back stays lengthened, belly draws in, and we lift the hips a little bit. Maybe hold there for a second and then slow rolling back down. Let's do that one more time on your own. And just releasing on that last one. Okay, so we're going to scoot away from the wall, but we're going to do a little bit more work with our bridge. So you can scoot up away from the wall if you want to, and just find soles of the feet on the mat. So check in with the neck here. I did say that that was going to be our focus for today. So check in with the back of your neck as you're here laying on your mat. And just see if you can find a little bit of length there. If the chin was really lifted up, maybe you let it drop down to bring the back of the neck a little closer to your mat. Okay, so just check in with the feet, make sure they're hip width apart, heels just an inch or two behind the hips. We're going to start to press into the soles of the feet, just like we did at the wall. Lift the tailbone, roll up into a low bridge. So you don't have to lift all the way up here. And we're going to find a single leg bridge as an option. So right foot can stay planted, option to lift that left foot. And I'm not mirroring here like I usually do since we're sideways. And just bringing that hip up and then back down. And we'll alternate sides a couple times. So if you're doing that single leg bridge, left foot plants, right knee lifts up and in. Let's do one more on each side. All right, we can slowly roll down. Again, see if you can segment that out. Do it really slowly and let the hips come all the way down. All right, let's go ahead and make our way over to tabletop. And come into hands and knees position. And go ahead and find your yoga block or similar prop that you're going to use here. And we're going to bring this kind of to the upper back and the back of the head. So one end of it is going to touch right on the back of the skull, and the other end is going to touch the top of the shoulders. So this is acting kind of like our mat was a moment ago. We're using it just to get a little extra feedback on our alignment. So see if you can bring the back of your neck closer to the block by slightly keeping the chin tucked and lifting the back of the neck towards your block. Okay. So from here, keeping that alignment, notice the shoulders. If they're up toward the ears, see if they can draw down a little bit. It might move your block when you do that. You can always adjust it if you need to. All right, so from here, keeping this position, we're just going to move the hips. So extending that right leg back. And now I am mirroring for some reason, so I'm actually doing my left, but you can do your right leg. And exhale, bring that right knee under the hip. Same thing, other side. Extend that left leg back. And then bring the knee back under. Let's do one more each side. Staying really stable in the upper back and the shoulders. One more time with the left leg. And back under the hip. All right, so let's take that block off, set it aside for now. And let's come over to seated for a moment, or you can find kneeling, whichever posture is more comfortable for you. I'm gonna stay sideways. I think it's just a little easier to demonstrate here, bringing some attention to the neck and the shoulders. So we're gonna bring one hand to the back of the head and one hand to our lower back, to our sacrum actually. So that hand on the sacrum is palm facing out, hand on the back of the head, palm faces in. And again, just getting some extra information on our alignment here. So we can think about lining up these 2 points that our hands are touching, and also lengthening between these 2 points. So take one more breath in here and think about lengthening the crown of your head up. And from here, let's bring that hand that's on your sacrum, could be your left or your right, but bring it to the back of your head. So both hands are cupping the back of the head, fingers interlaced, and adding in some movement with the breath. Next time you exhale, round through the spine. Chin tucks toward the chest, elbows hang down. And then inhale to reverse and lift up. So kind of a seated cat-cow. As you lift up, lift the heart, reach the elbows back. Do this a few more times. So just with your breath, as you're exhaling, rounding, tucking in. And as you're inhaling, lifting up, opening up. One more time. So this last time as we exhale, we're just going to release the hands down and we're going to come back to the wall. This time we're going to come into a kneeling position with one knee down, half kneeling, and we're going to have our side against the wall. If you want a little extra cushioning for your knee, you can find a folded up blanket or something like that. I don't think I called that prop out at the start of class, so if you need to pause and find that, feel free to do that. So the knee that is closest to the wall is going to be down. Opposite knee is going to be up. So we're going to have that foot planted. So feet, foot and knee hip width apart. We want our shoulder that's closest to the wall touching the wall. Okay, and then we're going to find our yoga block. Hopefully you had that nearby so you didn't have to redo your setup. And we're going to place that long ways going between our knee and the wall. So this is where you may want to use 2 yoga blocks. You might need to use one going long ways and one going on its shorter axis, depending on the width of your pelvis and shoulders. I actually would benefit from using 2 for this, so I don't have to like drive my knee in, but for purpose of demonstration, I'm just gonna go with it today. So again, we're kind of pinning that block between our knee and the wall. We've got our inside shoulder touching the wall. And we're gonna reach the arms out in front. Check in with your alignment here. Remember that drill we did with the hands on the back of the body. See if you can find that straight line here. With the next inhale, we're gonna take that arm that's on the wall, lift it up, reach up, and then turn toward the wall and kind of rainbow it all the way over. And then reversing that, inhaling to come back over. Should have said exhale to come back over. We'll do this a few more times, I'll get it right. So we got our arms back where we started, and we're gonna move that arm that's not closest to the wall, inhale to open it up. So we're coming into a twist here. Don't worry if that shoulder doesn't touch the wall. The far shoulder, the inside shoulder should stay in contact. Then exhale to come back. Okay, that was our practice round, especially for me, so we're gonna try it again. So again, that arm that's touching the wall, inhale to lift it up. Circle all the way in. And then exhale to bring it back over. And then inhale, opposite arm opens up away from the wall. So let's do that a couple more times. We're gonna add a little difference here this time. So take that arm that's closest to the wall, turn that palm to face in toward the wall first. Now inhale, reach it up and turn toward the wall. And then exhale, come back. Inhale, open away from the wall. Okay, one more time. So do it at your pace with your breath, adding in that internal rotation of the arm that's on the wall. So palm turns in first. And then inhale. Exhale to come back. And then inhale, open away. All right, and then coming back to center, we're gonna switch sides. So again, finding that half kneeling position. And I'm gonna do it without the block this time. It just kind of throws off my alignment since it's not quite long enough for me. So again, that inside shoulder touching the wall. Doesn't have to be jammed into it, but touching it straight on the back of the body. And from here, inhale to reach out in front. Take a breath. Next inhale, let's lift that inside arm up. And all the way over, reaching out to the back. Exhale to come back. And then inhale, open up toward the middle of the room, away from the wall. And do that a couple more times. I think 3 more times, right? We did 4 on the first side, so we'll do 4 here. And if you hadn't already, go ahead and add in that internal rotation on your inside arm. So palm faces in first and then turn and open up. Exhale brings you back to center. And inhale opens you up away from the wall. All right, one more time. So as the arms come back out in front of you, you can release the arms down and come away from the wall. And let's find our way back to tabletop. And just check in here, notice what you're feeling in the upper back and the shoulders. We're going to do a little bit more work with that area, and then we'll move on from there. So from this tabletop position, we're going to keep our left hand planted. We're going to inhale the right arm up, opening up with that right arm and lifting it. And then exhale to reach through, coming into that thread the needle pose. So right arm reaches behind the left, and we start to lower the head and the shoulder down toward the mat. You can use your props here. Find a blanket or a block under your head, your shoulder if you want it. And once you're on your mat, you have the option to move that left arm. It might feel good to reach it forward. Or another option is to drape that left arm behind your back. And take a few more breaths. And if you'd move that left hand, go ahead and bring it back to your mat. Exhale to press into that left hand and come back up. All right, so same thing, other side. Inhale that left arm up, lifting up and opening. And then exhale, reach behind your right arm. Reach through those left fingertips as you start to come down. Once the head and shoulder find the mat, you can either reach that right arm forward or drape it behind your back, or it can stay right where it is. We'll take a few more breaths. All right, so if you'd move that right hand, bring it back onto the mat near your shoulder. Exhale to press and come back up. All right, so once more, just check in here in your tabletop. Shoulder blades drawing down away from the ears, hands planted, flat back, more or less. We're going to move into downward facing dog for a few breaths. So tucking the toes under, exhale to lift the hips and shift back. It might feel good to walk out the legs here. And as you're here, again, just notice what's going on in the shoulders and the neck. As we inhale, let's start to walk our feet toward our hands. You can also slide the hands back toward the feet if you need to, making your way into forward fold. So as long as it feels okay for the back, you can just kind of hang here, finding the variation that we call ragdoll, where we're just letting the head and the shoulders hang. You can find some gentle movement here. And start to root down into the feet. Knees stay soft. Slowly as you inhale, come all the way up. And as you come up, you can lift the heart and reach the arms up. Bring the palms together. Exhale, hands to the heart. And take a breath. All right, so we'll take one more big breath in, reach up one more time. Exhale, forward fold, all the way down. Knees soft. Bend the knees, plant the hands, come over to hands and knees, and we're going to find one reclined pose before we go into Shavasana, or legs up the wall. And we're going to want that yoga block again, or if you don't have that, you can use a pillow or you can roll up a blanket. We're going to put this right underneath the base of our shoulders, kind of if you find the base of your sternum, that's the point if you went straight through the body where we'd want the block on the back. Supported fish pose. So go ahead and find that prop, whether you're using your yoga block or rolled up mat, blanket, again right underneath the base of the sternum on the back of the body, and then just reclining back. So a few options here. This can put a lot of tension on the back of the neck. So if you're feeling that, particularly if the back of your head isn't touching the ground, you might want to find another prop here, pillow or something like that, to support your head. Another option is if we're feeling lots of tension in the low back, we can bend our knees. And for the next few breaths, another option we can explore is to take the arms and reach them overhead. That can actually help take some of the tension out of the neck. It helps bring the upper back into more extension as we bring those shoulders into flexion. So we'll take a few more breaths wherever you are. One more breath. And let's go ahead and bring our hands to the head and really, really slowly start to use the hands to help lift the head and tuck the chin toward the chest. Rolling up. And then you can roll to the side to come off of your prop. You can set that aside. And I'll give the option, if you'd like to here, to move into legs up the wall. I'll show you how we can set up for that using our strap. So you can go ahead and loop your strap. If it's got buckles, you can use those so that you can cinch it up in a moment. If it doesn't, you can simply tie it. It's going to be going around the legs just to help hold them together once we're in that legs up the wall position. So to come into legs up the wall, easiest way to do that is to scoot right up against the wall and then lie on your side. And from there, roll onto your back. And then we can find that strap, bring it over the feet, and you can have it above or below your knees, whichever way is more comfortable for you. And then cinch it up just so it kind of holds the legs together. And again, this legs up the wall posture is just an option if you want to find a more traditional pose for Shavasana where you're just laying on your back. You can do that. You can find any pose that's comfortable for you. And again, I'm going to give just a few minutes in this video for Shavasana. If you know that you want to take a extended Shavasana 10 plus minutes, then you could pause here, pause the video that is, and take as much time as you need. So as we begin to settle in, just take a moment to notice what you feel in the body. Checking in with the effect of your practice. Just noticing how the muscles feel. Noticing if there are areas that feel tense or relaxed. Checking in mentally Just noticing how the mind is doing right now, whether it's really busy, whether it's calmed down a little bit. Just kind of taking a view of the mental landscape. You can also check in emotionally and just notice how you're feeling in that regard. Notice your breath, not trying to change it, just observing it. I'll be quiet for the next few minutes and then we'll close together. And over the next few breaths, you can start to bring your attention back to your body, back to the space around you. You can start to deepen your breath, begin to bring little bits of movement back to the body, maybe starting with the fingers, the toes, hands and feet, and just kind of moving in toward the rest of the body. If you're in that legs up the wall position, you can slowly start to bend your knees and then roll to your side. If you had that strap, of course, you can take that off and find your way back to seated position. All right. Well, thank you all for joining me today. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Namaste.